Breaking news tonight, Memphis police chase after 3 teenagers in a stolen car, and it ended with an officer shooting a 14-year-old. You know, Mayor Strickland and Chief Davis had an idea for the Scorpion unit. It's just obviously this wasn't in the plans. Now, Otis, I do just have to ask you directly, do you believe that Chief Davis's job is in jeopardy? His mobility is just declining all the way down to this point, standing up to being beaten to the point of not even being able to sit up to now just completely flat. Well, the current school board also got a lot of criticism. The amount of time it took to even find a superintendent, the money that went into that, COVID funds are running out. I mean, you say that the new ones might have a trouble, but how do we feel about the current school board and what they've done? Well, a social media post from a Memphis Shelby County Schools educator is going viral tonight. She's reacting to the district's decision to move central office employees back in the classroom. This morning, a boat capsized on the Wolf River Harbor, sending 2 men, including 47-year-old Gary Riley, into the water. Crews rescued the other man who was treated at the hospital, but Riley is still missing. The massive outage probably affected your workplace. It sure did ours. Not to mention most banks, businesses, air travel, and even emergency services. Tomorrow will be a critical day in a bizarre case that has Elvis's home in danger of being foreclosed on. You just heard from Maine's Governor Janet Mills feeling relieved to report that authorities found Robert Card, the suspected mass shooter, dead. I am on James and North Highland. It's right in between Raleigh and Fraser. Now, there are still some officers on the scene, but they are wrapping it up. So you showed up at Baptist East with the idea that your oldest was the only one hurt.
Yes.
And shot. And then you find out
In the hospital, everybody is shot.
if you had to put a dollar amount on how much damage is and when, if you had to ballpark it, what would you say that amount is?
Ooh, that is in the millions.
Can a telehealth provider in a state with shield laws see a patient in Tennessee?
If she could find one.
Have you gotten the Barack and Michelle reference at all?
We have. We get that a lot. We get that a lot. And that's pressure. That's like,
I know. I mean, this is one right here, and it matches my outfit, especially the day of the interview, too.
I love it.
So I had to wear the same color today.
Nice, nice.
I love it, all right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's just super creative. I just think it's a showstopper. You wouldn't believe that we went through that Arctic blast just a few weeks ago. Meteorologist Danielle Moss joins me now. We're both looking like a ray of sunshine with these gold tones. I love it, yes.
embracing the true spring outside here.
Now you can see the leprechaun there in green. Almost looks like a little Rudy.
Looks like you ran right across the street from Ronald Bond in all your green.
Well, I think there's a height requirement to be a leprechaun, Rudy.
Stay with us, everybody.
They had nearly 11% more antioxidants in their skin.
Wow. And Rudy, if you ate more carrots, maybe you wouldn't need your glasses.
No, maybe so, but too late for that.
Tennessee Senate Minority Leader Ramesh Akbari was Team Biden in 2020.
We want to bring everybody together and unite.
She was prepared to support his campaign again until the president decided not to run for re-election in 2024.
So shocked, disappointed, very sad, but at the same time, immediately pivoting and saying, hey, we've got to win this election. What's the best way to do that?
But it's the country's immediate future that worries Shelby County Republican Party Chairman Kerry Vaughn.
What does the next 6 months look like with his leadership or lack thereof? So to answer your question, I feel like we've been lied to.
With less than 4 months until the November election, Biden's endorsement of Vice President Kamala Harris is gaining momentum among Democrats.
She has collected a significant amount of delegates. Of course, Tennessee was the first, we're the volunteer state, but we were the first group of delegates to pledge all of our delegates to the vice president, 77.
What is she going to do differently than we haven't seen in the last 4 years?
A strategic play for Harris's campaign will be who she chooses as a running mate.
She's from the West Coast. I'd like to see her lean into some of our southern governors. We have Roy Cooper out of North Carolina, Andy Beshear out of Kentucky. We have, of course, Mark Kelly out of Arizona. So these are places where not only she could pick up votes, but she can also pick a running mate that other folks within the party apparatus identify with.
It could be anybody from Gavin Newsom to Secretary Pete to you name it. But I think it's still going to be a long shot when they go up against Donald Trump and J.D. Vance. You're talking about an assertive team. They have a game plan. They're going to work the game plan. And so I think no matter who they put up, it will fall short come November 5th.
With every stitch and every feather,
These are some smaller ostrich. Peacock. A lot of people love peacock.
Gina Vanzetta Johnson carefully handcrafts her one-of-a-kind church derby hats.
I like to say that we're the rock and roll of derby hats. Over the past 13 years, we have shipped out tens of thousands of hats.
Depending on how tall the order, it can take hours or in some cases days to bring one of her custom creations to life. Fabulous.
The detailing can be time consuming, especially when you're working with each individual feather. You're shaping, cutting, trimming every feather in the hat. I mean, there's a lot of feathers in these hats. That's probably my signature look, is an explosion of feathers, which is interesting because my name means small bird.
Her team of 4 is hard at work with orders flocking in for the derby season. It'll be hard to miss one of her pieces, frequently making appearances on the Kentucky Derby website.
They're making hats now that we will have ready for the next derby. Wow. So we prepare for a long way out, for sure.
All these vibrant colors you see in her workshop, the light at the end of a very dark tunnel Vanzetta's traveled through for years, dealing with symptoms of an inner ear infection called Meniere's disease that started when she was a baby.
I started having surgeries when I was 9 months old. It got very debilitating to the point to where I was totally bedridden. When I had my son in 2001, I almost died, and I had to have an emergency hysterectomy.
The curtain came down as a traveling opera singer, and without any business background, she used her head to mastermind a successful career as a milliner.
This business sort of saved me in a lot of ways. And so I'm able to use it to help others.
Her creations have even caught the eye of Hollywood, creating this hat for Taraji P. Henson's character Cookie on the hit show Empire.
I have worked with celebrities and TV shows, but I just love them all. They're all really special to me, so I can't say that one is more important than the other.
And no 2 hats are the same, tailor making each one so that each customer feels uniquely special.
It feels like a calling. So it's strange, I know. It's just hats.
Just ask that you.
Susan Lovato with Memphis Coalition for Life took the Supreme Court's decision to let individual states regulate abortion laws as a win. What was that day like?
Joy. I mean, that's why this office exists. This office exists so that babies will live.
But it was a huge loss for Jennifer Pepper, the CEO of Choices Center for Reproductive Health,
And that breaks my heart.
that provided abortions in Memphis since 1974.
We couldn't stomach the idea that we wouldn't be able to help the people that had relied on us for over 5 decades to take care of them.
Abortions are banned in Tennessee, Mississippi, and Arkansas, with an exception if the mother's life is in jeopardy. Mississippi is the only one out of the 3 that allows an abortion if the pregnancy resulted from rape.
So anything that happens to the mother, incest, abuse, it doesn't change the sacredness of that life.
Quite frankly, a lot of healthcare providers are scared. They don't want to lose their license. They don't want to end up in jail, but they want to take care of their patients. And so it is a really terrible position to put healthcare providers in. And it's the position the state of Tennessee has put them in other states across the country.
Since the Dobbs decision, the Society for Family Planning's We Count study shows an increase in abortions nationally from an average of 82,000 per month in 2022 to 86,000 per month in 2023. The data shows abortions declined in many of the red states like Tennessee, which either have a total ban or a 6-week ban. The yellow states have restricted access to abortions. Now, the green states, which have the most open, accessible abortion laws, well, those saw the most significant increases, with Illinois being the closest one to the Mid-South.
We opened a second clinic in southern Illinois, which is a 3-hour drive from Memphis, also a 3-hour drive from Nashville. Last year, we saw over 3,500 patients there from 21 different states. 95% of those patients were from outside Illinois, and primarily Tennessee, Mississippi, and Arkansas.
We had advocates stand on the sidewalk at Choices and Planned Parenthood offering resources to women who are in crisis. I would say 40 to 60% of the women that we greet are in crisis, like they are in a living situation which is unstable.
The study says telehealth contributes to the increase. Patients in restricted states can get prescribed abortion pills virtually from states that have shield laws legally protecting providers from criminal or civil actions. Governor Bill Lee made virtual abortions a felony for providers in Tennessee.
What telehealth does, it takes a woman away from a doctor who could recognize a need and a safety issue. The most dangerous parts of pregnancy, which would be ectopic and tubal, which is what is always brought up as the most dangerous thing. But a chemical abortion through the abortion pill does not rectify that danger.
Can a telehealth provider in a state with shield laws see a patient in Tennessee?
If she could find one, absolutely. But she's not going to be able, nobody in Tennessee is going to be able to take care of her. And not all telehealth providers are going to be willing to see a client in Tennessee. There are a few out there, but not all of them.
Governor Lee also signed a law to criminalize adults who help minors get an abortion without parental consent, which goes into effect July 1st.
Parents need to be able to be involved in the health care of their children. This involves their children and grandchildren.
There are instances of abuse, there are instances of neglect, all sorts of things that make the parent potentially not a safe person for that young person to talk to about their pregnancy or their need to access abortion. And so those are the young people that this law hurts.
Where do you see the future of reproductive laws in Tennessee going?
Well, I can tell you what I hope. I mean, I don't think it's outside the possibility of prosecuting anyone. I think that Governor Lee and our legislature are committed to the safety and health of Tennessee residents.
I think, unfortunately, we have potentially not seen the worst that it's going to get. There are certainly rumblings around IVF, intravitreal fertilization, and as well as contraception. And so this election in 2024 is super important.
We have prayer.
Your state elections are super important.
Their eyes will be open to the true evil of abortion.
Because we are still fighting, and the fight's not over.